Did I ever think in a million years that I would have a couple websites and a couple YouTube channels and do some social media? But since I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it right. So here is my opening sequence. How did all this come about? Well, I started working at Fuller Seminary, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago. And then I started teaching more and more classes. And then I started to notice that our world was changing. I used to teach in the classroom a lot, and then I taught more and more online. The more I taught online, the more I had to do videos. And for the longest time, I was in my garage with a sheet in the background, and I was recording lectures for graduate level students with a sheet in the background. Now really I had no problem with that, but I thought, I probably need to up my game a little bit at some point. And then I got to thinking, a lot of the stuff that I teach in the classroom, I don't necessarily get to teach all of my theology specific type stuff. And one of my biggest passions is understanding what it means to be a disciple of Jesus and what it means to make a disciple of Jesus. And that's the kind of stuff that I didn't get to talk enough about. So I thought what I could do is build a little studio in my house. And so here you are, welcome to my studio. And I thought, well, I could probably start a couple YouTube channels and, direct my students there and help other people get there, because I find I get a lot of emails, a lot of questions, because a lot of people hear that not only am I a follower of Jesus, and I know that I'm saved by grace through faith, but I also follow the Torah. I got two kinds of questions. First of all, why do you do that? How do you understand the biblical covenants? And then number two, if I were to even believe that, how would I even start? What would I do? And so instead of emailing over and over again, I thought, well, I'm just going to start a site, help people know how to observe the feast days, how to do the Sabbath. And basically, I think my biggest part of me just wants people to fall in love with Jesus and know how to respond to God's grace. And so in these first step videos, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cover what is the gospel. And then in video 2, I want you to know, what does it mean to do good? I think what happens a lot of times is we want to do good. We want to respond to God's grace, but our responses are more in line with what the world thinks is good instead of what God thinks is good. Now, there's a whole lot of overlap. I don't discount that, but at the same time, there are things that we could be doing that would help us push further into the kingdom of God, and I want to share those types of things with you. And then the last one is just kind of this first steps. Let's just say you've committed your life to Jesus. You want to follow him. You get what it means to do the good. Now what? What do I do to continue on in this life in Jesus? And that's what I'm all about.